Hello, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be trying something a tiny bit different. We're going to be doing a sketchbook tour. I just spent upwards of an hour and a half getting my cell phone set up here to record because my webcam, the quality was just abysmal for it to record any sort of traditional sketches. This hopefully will turn out pretty well. I have like a sideways orientation, so that way I can flip the sketchbook across because it's absolutely massive. Um, so these sketches, I think most of this sketchbook is from 2022. Probably the later half of it is into 2023. We'll find out because I kind of randomly date pages through my sketchbooks. I don't really. I start out thinking I'm going to date every day that I draw and then forget to do it. So it's kind of sporadic. So these look like just some environment thumbnails that I did. Got a couple like towering structures, those kind of things. Now these are pretty cool actually. So there was one night I was laying in bed and I just had this idea of like a jade palace, and I kept going and laying down again and then having more and more ideas for this scene. So I'd get up and go draw it. At the time I was reading The King in Yellow, which is an incredible book. Highly recommend. And I think it kind of gave me this idea of a character wandering through a ruined kingdom. Maybe he returned after a very long time and was then greeted by his empty palace and forlorn kingdom, just wandering the halls. That kind of idea. At the time, I was also playing Hollow Knight and had read another book called the Magnum Opus, which is also a really, really cool book. There's a YouTube animation, claymation called The Maker, which is based in the world that the book is about. I'll link that in the description. You should go check it out. It's super cool. It's like a 7-minute animation, and it kind of prefaces the idea for the whole novel. But I think I kind of drew from that with this idea of this world, and also I was playing Destiny a lot at the time, so the I'm blanking on the name now. One of the races had super interesting architecture, and I definitely drew a lot from that with these big statues and like circular rooms and such. I love drawing mechs. That's something that I've always enjoyed doing. So I'm sure there will be a lot of mech sketches throughout this book here. I really like playing with these big curvy shapes. The mechs that I do usually end up looking like there's like a lot of smooth plating over their mechanics. Like not a lot of their mechanical parts show through usually. Here's some hand studies that I did. I would sit down and do a bit of realism and then do a bunch of stylized drawings together. I think that helps keep a good balance. This is some of my favorite design language, like these huge circular focal points and then the tiny dot eye and then all their limbs coming off. I think that's super cool looking. See, here's this again, the realism and then stylized portraits. What I like to do a lot, I don't do it so much anymore, but I would take an artist that I like and I would draw their work, and then I would look at portrait photography of real people and try and translate the style onto that photography. Oh, here's some nice portraits. These are probably 10-minute portraits. I love a good graphite pencil. Like a nice 2B. That's my favorite. Just get it really sharp with a razor blade, and then you can turn it on its side to get these like big strokes like this to build up values and texture. Love that. I have spent a lot of time in Procreate trying to make a brush that replicates that, but I don't know, it's hard to get the same look and feel digitally. These are cool. These sketches I did with a an artist from a art program that I was thinking about going into. The teacher connected me and her, and we went to get coffee one time. So we did these like half and half drawings where we would each do part of the drawing to kind of ideate a little bit, come up with some interesting things. She was going to be a car designer, so she encouraged me to try and design a car, which this is absolutely abysmal. Like, I can't even look at that. uh, Here's more environments. So these are actually from Destiny 2 when the Witch Queen came out. I thought the design language of those areas, those environments was just awe-striking with the reds and the greens and the like bone color just mixed so well. So these are just quick value studies, maybe 10 minutes or so. So this is some more of those stylized portraits. Um, you can probably tell the worst looking ones are the ones that I tried to do from the like portrait photography. Oh, here, look, I timed myself 9 minutes, 6 minutes. Sorry if I'm a little sniffly. This is my worst allergy season of the year. My nose like almost nonstop running. More mechs. Got some like sci-fi soldiers here. I think it's really fun doing these like curvy gun shapes. I think you can see a lot of influences from Destiny in these sketches, especially. More environments. Super huge buff dude. Um, these ones are upside down. These are pretty nice. I like to do. Uh, these are more Destiny environments. It's probably a little hard to see convey it through this camera. You can see a little more clearly in person. I love to put these little triangle figures for scale of the environment. See how long it's going to take me before I get mixed up and start going back through pages I've already done. Oh, so Loish, her work is incredible. These snakes are heavily influenced by her sharp and curved edges mixed together. Here's a little bit of acrylic. I haven't painted much with acrylic at all, actually. I never, I never really got into it. I didn't enjoy the workflow of painting with acrylic. I hated waiting for paint to dry to do the next thing, and it seemed like it took so much longer than watercolors to get anything done. I like to work pretty quickly, so it never really stuck for me. Some more otters, ox. Animals are fun to draw. I don't give them credit for how much fun they are. I don't do them often enough, I don't think. Some more acrylic. You can see this little lip here is because I did a terrible painting and covered it up. Oh, here's some more. Oh, this is one of my favorites, pulling out the sticky note to cover up a terrible drawing. This is quite a nice one, actually. The simplification of values here and the texture I got in the hair. Ooh, this may be my entry for Chroma Core. This design language is kind of similar. Um, we'll see. I don't remember if that's this sketchbook or a different one. Lots of character thumbnails, different kind of mix of cyborg, sci-fi. That's kind of my favorite design language, or was at the time anyway. I mostly am doing fan art now, as I'm sure you well know. So these are sketches from Skullgirls, the fighting game. Um, I used to play that quite a bit. The 2D hand run animation for the fighting game is not common, and it works so well with the designs. So fluid, it feels amazing to play. Some snails with mushrooms, little mouse. More acrylic portraits. Lots of quick, really loose gesture drawings, figures in action. I think these are Fiora sketches. I don't draw many other characters with a rapier. I like to do pen a lot too, because it forces you to have really good line control. You can't have those sketchy rough lines, or it's just not gonna convey the image that you're trying to. This is a little character design that I did. I actually I bought a deck of cards, and they have these like swirling graffiti patterns and eyeballs on them, and that kind of design influenced this character. I think I called her the bubblegum witch or something. She's got like eyeballs in this like swirling bubblegum goo, which is kind of what the cards look like. If I remember, I'll put a photo of them up in the video. But this was when I was absolutely terrible at digital. You can see I'm pretty decent at traditional drawing, but for the life of me, I could not paint digitally. Lots and lots of quick gestures and thumbnails. There's a lot of just these movements, and I think maybe some of them led to me trying to refine the drawings. Oh, here's some sketches. These are from heavily influenced by Ahmed Aldori. His I honestly don't love his paintings, but the way that he sketches and his pencil drawings are awe-striking to me. Absolutely incredible. If you haven't seen his work, you haven't watched his channel, go check him out. Watch some of his old sketchbook tours. They are very, very inspiring. And if seeing his work doesn't get you to want to draw traditionally, I don't think anything will. Okay, okay, here we are. This is the Chroma Core sketches, early character ideations. You can see little notes about different design features that I like. Um, yeah, we'll just see how this develops. I think I did a like two part character where she has a like mech suit that she wears as battle armor. There were two directions that I wanted to go here, whether it was going to be like fantasy, like a knight that wields magic, or if it was going to be a sci-fi with a mech suit. And I went with sci-fi. So that was kind of the character design that I picked. And here's different ideations for the mech suit. Just trying to go pretty broad. What different design languages can I convey? What kind of feelings are these different mechs showing? Like this one's very underwater explorer type, and these ones look a lot more like battle mechs. This one is the one that I went with, where it's just kind of a suit of armor that assembles around her, almost like a Spartan suit from Halo would be. So it looks like I left that behind for a little bit. I might have taken it digitally from that point. If I remember, I will put a digital, the final digital sketches that I did and the illustration for the character submission. I didn't end up getting even an honorable mention, which was kind of disappointing. I did like the minimum character requirements, and then I did a bunch of like silhouette action shots and weapon design, and then I did a full illustration of like Chroma Core workers putting her armor on. These are some sketches from Valorant, just straight ballpoint. This jet sketch is very nice. Some Viper, such a cool champion. Okay, here's some more pen. These are sketches from Imagination, just doing like perspective practice. You can see there's kind of like the Victorian era furniture, and there's like big fish swimming around through it. Here's another one. It's fun to just kind of layer these shapes in perspective and add texture to them. Here's some figure drawing, relying a lot on shadow as definition. This one especially is really nice. I think at this time I may have been in an art Discord server for an artist I follow, Jimbox, I think. And they did like weekly figure drawings. So I would join those sometimes, and we would all draw the figures together, doing different time intervals. Here's some more environments. Oh, these, if you want to practice your line weight, this is the way to go. You do like a gel pen, so you don't even have the opacity control that you do with a ballpoint, and just go straight in. You just have to draw your final lines right away. Here's some more environment thumbnails with one of those gel pens. Here's some quick like castle scenes in pencil. Okay, so from this page, let me see. Okay, so I took like a 2-month break. So all of the stuff we went through was done in like maybe a month and a half. I was drawing just insane volume. And then I took like I said, a 2-month break here. And so those last 2 pages were me kind of getting back into it. These are some silly little Grim Reaper sketches. These were like, I was on like a tattoo design kick with like skulls and flowers and clocks and such. Very edgy, I know. Just big sketchbook pages, mix of portraits from imagination and from reference, more environment sketches. Oh, this was kind of cool. This is like a fashion design idea that I had. It's like a corset made of PVA foam, and it's like a rib cage that would fit around your rib cage, and it connects in with this like intricately patterned black and gold skirt. That was a cool idea. Would have been cool to see it come to fruition. More really loose tattoo sketches. There's a couple neat ones on here. Um, I like that one with the bird skull and the flowers. Oh, here's some like insect-like mechs. Okay, so this is post Chroma Core. Um, because this was someone else's character submission that I drew because I thought the design was so satisfying. Mechs, sci-fi soldiers, a little bit of like modern day kind of military armor there. More mechs to finish it out. Oh, okay. So I guess I was still in my watercolor or my Hollow Knight era at the end of this sketchbook a little bit. So we got watercolor sketches of Hornet. I can't remember his name now. Somebody scream at me in the comments. These are fun. So I would do like a really rough pencil sketch and then throw down a loose watercolor over top and then go in and pen in all the shapes to get like a really loose kind of color sketch. I might need to do some of these again. They're a ton of fun. Mixing these like scenes, very graphic designs of environments. In one of my little sketchbooks, I used to take it with me every day, and whenever I had a couple minutes, I would draw like really complex scenes of like floating islands or something, where mostly in the Hollow Knight world where you could like see through archways, but there would be like layers of stuff on top of them. Like there were different floors that you could see through. Uh, those were super cool. If I find one of those little sketchbooks, maybe I'll do that for my next tour. My other idea was to do like maybe 2 week or 3 week series where I do a flip through and discussion of an artist's artwork, looking at their art book, and then spend the next couple videos doing studies of their work and talking about that, what to draw from this artist and how we can build those skills. So if you'd be interested in seeing a series like that, let me know in the comments. All right, with that, I love you all. Please take care.